There we go. Hello, hello. Hi, Libby. Hi, Susan. How are you?
Hey
Hey,
there.
hello, Linda and Libby.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello, everybody who might jump on as we're having this conversation tonight or watch the replay. Please say hello. Please say where you're listening from if you catch it later. And this is our third conversation together, the three of us. So 3 for 3 about menopause, because we just want to whet your appetite a little bit about a free mini course workshop that we're doing next week. And we want to give you an idea about what are the things we're going to talk about. So my name is Linda Downey. If you're new to my world and you're just seeing this streaming for some reason somewhere, this is streaming in multiple places for all of us. So we may not see your comments in the moment, but we will go back and look. And who I am is a functional health practitioner. I am a transformational health and whole life coach, and I work with women primarily on stress and anxiety, teaching the nervous system how to live in a more peaceful state and how to overcome their past to create a life that they love, which totally relates to menopause because that's what's coming. And how do we create a life that we love in menopause? So that's who I am. And I will let my dear colleagues introduce themselves to you. Libby, you want to go ahead?
Sure. My name is Libby Wright, and I work with people who have been given really sometimes scary or overwhelming serious health diagnoses to work through those issues and find a place of peace and joy and healing. I also work with physicians and practitioners who want to transition from a straight medical practice to a more functional type practice. So that's what I do. I'm also a homeschool mom of 27 years, and I live in Natchitoches, Louisiana.
Awesome. Thanks. And Susan.
Hi, aloha. I am Susan Alden, and I live here in Hawaii on the island of Oahu. And I too am a health coach. I've been a yoga therapist for many, many years. I have a pretty extensive background in working with men and women who've been impacted by trauma, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. And I am coming to this wonderful collaborative with an expertise in fasting and nutrition, as I've been trained by Dr. Mindy Peltz, who some of you might know of. She's author of Eat Like a Girl and Fast Like a Girl, and her protocols for both fasting and nutrition for women, particularly in menopausal years, is really kind of taking the world by storm. So I'm super honored to be able to bring all the wisdom of Dr. Mindy, as well as many decades of just working with individuals in all aspects of their health.
Yeah, thank you. And that is a great lead in, I think, to our topic tonight. This is our third, as I said, of 3 series to talk about our workshop that's happening next week. But tonight's conversation is titled Solving the Menopause Puzzle. So we thought it would be really great and important to say, like, what are the pieces of that puzzle? And I think that Susan really speaks to a really significant piece, which is how our metabolism has changed at this time in our lives as women, how we need to eat, because we follow a lot of stuff out there and it doesn't always work. Would you agree with that, Susan?
Absolutely. I'm kind of chuckling because I have so many women who come to me for support and they say, gosh, all the things that I used to do just aren't working for me. I'm eating healthier now than I ever have, and I'm moving, I'm working out, and I still can't lose the weight, or I just don't feel great. I don't have the same energy and vitality. And of course, that is to be expected as we age, but we can age well. We don't have to feel all of these things that we hear kind of in social media and just in jokes. I mean, I get these jokes all the time from menopausal women and about the sleep or about the hot flashes or about the weight gain. And while we can connect and unite around that, we can also move forward in such a beautiful way when we're armed with some information and resources to make menopause the next best chapter. And it is a puzzle. It's different for everyone. And so this course and working with each one of us is going to be a way for you to help figure out your own missing piece in your menopause puzzle. And so we're going to be talking about it from all aspects, physically, mentally, emotionally, even spiritually, what it means to move into this next chapter in a beautiful new way with the energy and vitality and health and well-being and great sense of purpose that we know you can have.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Thank you. Libby, if you were going to come up with one significant piece of the puzzle from your lens, what do you think that would be?
I think the piece of the puzzle that we often don't understand is that we live in a culture where everything is in little boxes and silos. So if you have one problem with one thing, we often don't realize that it relates to something else, and we don't often look at things from a holistic perspective. Right. So if we have stuck emotional trauma, for instance, something I think all three of us work with in our own special way, that can impact our health. That can impact our vitality. That can impact fill in the blank, everything. And so I think one of the things I would want to just share is that we need to take step back and take like the 20,000 foot view and just say, okay, wait a second. Is it possible that this thing that I think is completely unrelated, let's say it's a diagnosis, since that's the world I live in. Well, what if they are interconnected? What if one is impacting the other? Is that even possible? We oftentimes don't ask that question. We're usually
Yeah.
just like, oh, well, I have fibromyalgia and I'm going through menopause. Two separate issues. Nothing to, they have nothing to do with each other. And that's just not true. Or even, women who often feel isolated, women who have had medical menopause. So maybe they had to have a surgery or some kind of procedure. Maybe they're in their 20s or 30s. Maybe they're in their 60s or 70s, but they didn't have the typical menopausal journey because they had a medical intervention of some kind. And so I think just being able to look at this holistically and say, oh wait, okay, well maybe that menopausal weight I'm feeling, do I have patterns in my life that make that harder for me to let that go? Do I have patterns in my life or diagnoses or relationships or stuck trauma or views about my identity now that might not serve me well and might be making the menopausal symptoms worse? Because
Mm.
the truth is, and my husband's a physician, and this is one of the things we often talk about with our clients. Did you know that a diagnosis is just a collection of symptoms that then can be billed to an insurance company? That's what it is. Fill in
Mm.
the blank: menopause, cancer, um, you know, big toe inflammation. There's a code for everything. If y'all want to go get really crazy, come look at codes with me one day. It's insane. But I mean, you have to say, is it the right toe or the left toe? How inflamed is it? Is it red? And there's all these codes and subcodes around that. And so sometimes we get sucked into that and think that, like, oh, I am my diagnosis. Well, that's not true. Or am my collection of diagnoses? Well, that's also not true. Well, am I my collection of symptoms? No. So we have to start working back from that Western way of thinking and start believing that maybe these things are interconnected and maybe that is not what defines us. It doesn't make us who we are as people. It's just where we're at right now. And, Linda, I know you talk a lot about this with the concept of second spring and the concept of realizing that we're in a different phase of life now. And because of that, we need to look at the world through a different lens. So, would you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to. I love talking about this stuff. And that would be what I would love to contribute to this conversation is, excuse me, the perspective or the lens to look through as, is it actually possible that from this point on life can get better? I can create a new bloom to my life. I can actually grow new things, to use the analogy of spring, right? But it's my second chance in my life to create. So as women, we create life. We are the creators. Whether you've given birth to a child or not, your body is designed to create. And so is your spirit, I believe. Spiritually, we are the holders of the spirituality and the energy of creation. That's the feminine. That's a big part of the feminine. And so we have an opportunity now to tap back into that feminine energy and create for ourselves now that we're done creating and nurturing other people. It's a wonderful possibility. And that's a big piece of the puzzle that I'd like to share, is how do I create that? And that's much longer than what we're going to talk about tonight, but in our workshop next week, and the link is posted right now in the comments. I thought to post it ahead of time today. The link to sign up for that, thank you, is right there. So it's the free workshop, but you do need to register because it's not open to the public. It will be a conversation on a Zoom link. So you need to be able to get the Zoom link. You need to be able to get the replays if you can't be there live, or if you want to save the replays anyway for what we cover. So you need to register. And so that link is there. And again, it's a free workshop. And we want to just dive into all of this with you, and just give a taste of like the kind of work that we do.
Love it. Love it. You know, one of
Yeah.
the things that's been really interesting to me, I came from Michigan originally and moved to Louisiana, and we have a garden. And so let's talk practical for a minute. I thought that, so coming from Michigan, right, you have a pretty short growing season because, well, there's snow or you don't see the sun for 9 months a year sometimes. So you got this window of time that you grow things, right? And so I grew up around gardens and all that. I felt like I knew my way around. That was good. We planted our garden, and the first year, as soon as the harvest was over, because it got too hot, so this was like, we did it like March to May, then everything started, it looked like it was going to burn up. So I just pulled all the plants, right? I was like, it's dead, it's done, it's over. That was cool. Man, I wish I could get more, but that was, growing seasons are short. That's just the way life is, right? Then last year, life just got really busy for me, and I left. The same thing happened, but I left the plants in the ground because I just didn't have time to go pull them and, kind of clean up the beds and everything. I'm like, whatever, I'll get to it. It's 1,000 degrees outside. It's like walking on the surface of the sun. I don't need to do that right now. So I left them, and all of a sudden, when it cooled off, it's like October, I start seeing these blossoms on everything, everywhere. And I'm like, what is going on? You're supposed to get a harvest and then pull your plants and you're done. But no, we actually got a lot more vegetables and they were better tasting in that second harvest because I didn't pull the plant. Because I was like, I guess I should have left them. So the analogy there, I think you can see pretty clearly. Oftentimes we assume, we did the thing, right? I was a mother, or I was a this, or I was a that. And now I'm 50 and I need to go knit somewhere in the corner and get a helmet hairdo. Because that's what you do when you turn 50. You get your discount McDonald's coffee, and that's the way life is forever. You're elderly, right? I used to think 55 was so old. I don't know about you guys, but anyway, now I'm like, phew, I got that one wrong. But the point is that we can redefine what all this means, and we can have an even more beautiful harvest this second round of things, like what Linda was talking about. If we don't pull the plug and we don't just give up and say, well, this is it, that show's over, done. So really what we're looking to talk to people about is this, because that's, Susan, would you agree that's not the conversation that happens in our culture right now? Like, the best is yet to come. You're 50. Let's go.
Absolutely. No, and I think we're in this crazy time of anti-aging where everyone's just trying not to age. Like there's both. It's like this, we have this preconceived notion of maybe what aging is like, but then we're just trying to put the brakes on and make it stop. And in reality, when we tune into our natural rhythms, when we work with our body, when we work with our hormones, when we really know ourselves deeply, and that interconnected relationship with nature too, by the way, when we really know ourselves, then we can move forward in this beautiful aging journey in such an exquisite way. One of my dear friends and coaching clients is 90 years old, and she has been using some of the Fast Like a Girl and Eat Like a Girl protocols that I've been doing, and some of the other stuff that we'll be talking about in this course. And she is a great representation of a whole new way to age, and all of the things that she's doing in this chapter of her life at 90, almost 91, traveling and having this beautiful connection with great grandkids. And she's personally expanded my mind about what's possible. And so whether or not we've had these kind of aging women in our lives that are a good role model in terms of like how we would like to be, or maybe you haven't had that, and it's like you're trying to create a new paradigm for yourself. You're rewriting a program. Maybe you're the pattern breaker in your life for your mother and your grandmother. And those of us that I don't have daughters. I've got Hanai daughters, or daughters by choice, I should say. But we have an opportunity here to, in taking care of ourselves and really nurturing ourselves, nourishing and nurturing ourselves holistically in this phase of life, we have an opportunity to really shift the conversation and make this not only the next best chapter for our lives, but to leave a legacy for those women who are coming up behind us and want to see menopause done in a beautiful new way. And so these tools and techniques and resources and practices that we're going to show you in this course are a whole new way of being. And I'm just excited about the journey ahead.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well said. So, yeah, if any of this interests you and you think, you know what, I would love a free workshop on some of this stuff, I think that would benefit me, then here's your opportunity. So go ahead and click the link that's in the comments. If you can't find it, you can send us a comment, or later if you're watching, and we would just love to say hello anyway. But we start next week. So we really want to make sure that you get the information to participate if that's what you want to do. So we hope to see you there, and we'll be sharing more about it. We're not scheduled to do any more live conversations like this, but we will definitely be sharing around and about, so you'll see it again. But we hope to see you on the workshop next week. Anything else you ladies want to add before we say goodbye?
I want to reiterate the fact that you don't have to be on the live to join the seminar, the free mini course. Even if it's a different time zone, or you're working or whatever, you have other commitments, you can still sign up and get the replays. So we would absolutely love to have as many of you on live as you can, but we know life happens, and committing to something like this, especially on the fly, can be a little difficult. So if you have been looking for a resource and some women who listen and who really care and who have some unique experience and some things to share that can help you on this journey, then just sign up. There's no downside. So
yeah, and with that, I'd love to
100%.
For those of you who can't join us live for the workshop next week, you can also submit your questions to any of us, to the three of us, and we will do our best to answer your questions and address your specific issue, your missing puzzle piece in your menopause journey during the course. So let us know. We really want to hear from you. We want this to serve you and your unique needs.
That's great. Thank you, Susan.
Yeah. Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you, ladies, for your time. It was nice to connect. We're having some bad weather where I am and where Libby is. So sometimes it's challenging to connect in between time zones and weather and internet, but we did it. And so thankful for this time together, and I'll see you all next week.
All right.
Sounds
Take
great.
care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Aloha. Bye.